to today's episode, everyone. We've got a very exciting guest for you guys. For those of you just joining the podcast, we're ENG Media, and we specialize in helping software and tech companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your software or tech business to the next level, make sure to stick around. But without further ado, Raghu, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. I'm really excited to dive into Synergetics AI and all the awesome stuff you guys are working on.
Thanks for having me, Tyson. Thank you.
Absolutely. So maybe we can just start by you telling, myself and both the audience as well, really just like an overview of what Synergetics AI is and really your guys' core area of focus.
Sure. So we are an agentic AI company, and we saw an opportunity where a lot of people have started to employ agents in the workplace. So
Yep.
it started off with me publishing a series of articles on Medium about the future of work. And for those listeners, I've been facilitating AI and blockchain courses for the MIT Sloan School of Business as well as Computer Science AI Lab for the last 8 years. So
Nice.
this area is something that I'm quite familiar with. And as AI became more prevalent, let's say with the introduction of Chat GPT, and I've been using AI in various companies for 20 years at Yahoo and places like that. But
Mm.
but for the mainstream audience, AI is really starting to get more popular with the launch of Chat GPT and so on.
Yeah.
Uh, we saw an opportunity where we see the future of work changing. And so I wrote a series of articles on Medium where it's a 7-part series which talks about how the future of work would consist of both human capital as well
Mhm.
as digital human capital in the form of avatars, chatbots, voice agents, and even embedded agents within devices and so on.
Nice.
So, and these agents and humans would work hand in hand, such that it could be a few tasks might be done by humans and then hand off to an agent and then back to human and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So where synergetics really starts to shine is if you take these what we call agentic workflows.
Mhm.
um, Agents can operate singularly like an individual contributor in a shop, in a company or whatnot. Those are the simple agents, and almost about 95% of companies out there are focused on these individual contributor type agents.
Mm.
We focus on multi-agent systems. There's only about 5% of the whole market focusing on this problem,
Yeah.
where agents are talking to one another or agents are talking to humans. And that is the core bread and butter for our company.
Yeah.
And we have devised a protocol to enable communications between agents to happen very easily. It's called Agent Talk and it's patented.
Oh
And
wow.
then we also have one additional piece which really sets us apart from the rest of the market,
Mhm.
which is agents can not only communicate with agents within an enterprise, but
Oh,
also agents can talk to other agents outside the enterprise. So let me give you a couple of examples.
sure.
So, for example, if you go to for your medical appointment these days, and most listeners would have been are very familiar with this scenario. You
Oh,
go in, you go to the front desk, you give them your medical ID card, and they
yeah.
take the card and they say, "Mr. Tyson, take a seat while I check." And they'll take your card, call the insurance company to make sure that it's still valid, and then after that they'll say, "Okay, it's good. Pay your copay or whatever it is, and then have a seat." And then they'll call you in for your consultation. At the end of the consultation, they take all of the medical records and whatever procedures that were completed. Again, call the insurance company to say, okay, these procedures were completed. We spent so many minutes on this, so much. We use this equipment, we use this medicine, blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
then the insurance company will reimburse the clinic. Okay, that's how what we call payer and provider communication happens.
I
Now,
see.
this communication is where you have to cross enterprise boundaries. Insurance company is one company, your clinic is another company. So this is getting disrupted using agents today because the space is full of waste, fraud, and a lot of inefficiency.
Yeah.
And there are similar types of communication across enterprises that
Mhm.
also have a lot of these types of similar problems, So, for example, in supply chain,
Mhm.
there are a lot of suppliers and who work collectively to, let's say, make a car, in
Uh,
the car manufacturing space, or in banking. You have, let's say, there's an exporter in Asia, there is a importer in the US,
uh,
and then the goods have to go through certain ports. There are shipping companies, there are insurance companies, there are banks on both sides. There is the importer, the exporter, and they have to negotiate a lot of documents such as letter of credit, bill of lading, things like that. So there are multiple parties involved before that those goods can arrive at your doorstep.
uh,
And for that to happen, agents are a good use of agents where you can cut down the time, you can improve the efficiency, reduce the cost, reduce the mistakes that happen in the space. About
sure.
8% of international trade today has got some problem, fraud or otherwise. So
Uh,
you can reduce all that waste using AI agents. So
yeah,
I'm just giving you these two examples as illustrations where agent communication happens not only within the enterprise but beyond the enterprise, and
sure.
that's where we have an advantage, because we not only have got the AI technology built in,
Mhm.
our agents are actually NFTs.
Oh,
So they
wow.
are actually tokens under the hood, and they are agents that are autonomous. They can move, they have their own wallets, they have
Oh, wow.
their own identity. So these are things which have been recognized by third parties. So we got written up in Forbes recently. We got written up in MSN.
Nice.
We got noticed by there was a big article on MIT by MIT Media Labs,
Yeah.
recognizing some of the work we have done. So
Yeah.
this is what I think sets us apart from the rest of the crowd.
100%. I appreciate you breaking it down for both myself and the audience as well, in a way that they can understand really how this kind of works out. And something else that I discovered, kind of going through your guys' website, is there's really a whole agentic AI economy, and really what that means is like there's a huge opportunity for people that are interacting with AI agents or maybe even creating them to to really capitalize on that and be able to make money. And so I like the way that I look at it is there's consumers of the AI agents that can obviously benefit from some of the examples that you shared, but then there's also the creators of the agents, and then also the potential for advertising opportunities as well. Could you maybe speak a little bit to what that agent economy is and how people could really benefit from taking part in it, I guess?
Yes, thanks for asking that. That's a beautiful way to set the stage. So, so when I ask people, what do you look, how do you see YouTube?
Mhm.
And people who consume content think of it as a channel where they can go and consume content. But
Sure.
for YouTubers who make that content, they look at YouTube as a vending machine where they can make money. They
Right.
look at it very differently from a person consuming the content. So there are consumers, there are creators who are YouTubers, and
Mhm.
then there is Google under the hood providing YouTube as a platform. And then there are advertisers who think like, oh wow, there are people coming here to watch this content, and maybe if I can insert my ad, I can get my
Mm.
product in front of a lot of people. So you have four different personas here. You have the consumers on
Mhm.
one side, you have the creators on the other side, you have the advertisers, and then you have the YouTube or Google sort of like technology providers. You have these four parties involved in this ecosystem.
Yeah.
Same thing here with agent economy. So there are people who make agents, and those people can say, okay, let's say that I'm a very good physics teacher,
Uh,
and I want to monetize my knowledge. So what I do is I create a model with all my knowledge for physics and put it into my agent, and now this agent can have an avatar that can look like you or whatnot, and
oh,
it
wow.
can now provide instruction to a bunch of consumers. So there can be a bunch of people say, I want to learn about physics, whichever high school physics or college physics or whatever it is,
Mhm.
and they come in and take a course which is taught by an AI agent. Now,
Oh, wow.
from the creator perspective, this person, he might be teaching physics courses through tuition or whatever it is, and he has 8 hours a day to teach it. Now
Mhm.
with the AI agent, he can teach it numerous hours to numerous people, and he just multiplied his revenue through
Wow.
passive income. Remember, so you can teach anything you want
Yeah.
in this way. It can be accounting, it can be physics, it can be chemistry, it can be math, it can be anything, sewing, whatever you want. So
Yeah.
you can start to multiply and create passive income. So that's the creator viewpoint. From the consumer viewpoint, now I can now get instruction in anything I want to learn about very easily through this source. So that's the way the consumer looks at it. And now, but then in the enterprise space, so for example, if I
Mhm.
take enterprises, they are creating models for their own business or whatever. But then
Mhm.
they might say, hey, you know what? I want a third pair of eyes to come and look at this model to make sure that it's correct. And
Mhm.
I can look at it from an internal standpoint, but I'd like to get a almost like a third party focus group to come and see what we have created to make sure it's accurate. Where do you find them? You find them in the community of the
Oh,
Asian
wow.
economy. So just like you would hire people on Upwork or Fiverr or something,
Mhm.
you can hire AI testers from our community to come and look at your model to point out flaws or errors that you might have missed. So
Oh,
you
wow.
rather, and so for these people who are testing, it's a great source of revenue because
Sure.
you're sitting at home, you want to do a couple of other things to make some money. Hey, great, join the Asian economy, be an AI tester. So
Yeah.
these are new jobs. People are talking about jobs being lost through AI. We are saying, no, 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 no. You're going to create new jobs. Let me show
Right.
you. So
Yeah.
this Asian economy creates new jobs. This is what we have developed, and we have a set of tools for each of these community participants to interact with the Asian economy.
Wow. Wow. I love the YouTube analogy as well. I think that really helps it take shape in reality of how people can see this working. So not only can you get a benefit from actually using these AI agents or creating them, but then there's also the opportunity to even advertise in the space and provide you guys are providing that opportunity for your guys' users as well. And my next question leading up to that as well is like, if anybody does want to become a part of this economy or they want to really get involved in everything that you guys are working on, it seems like there's a very simple onboarding process to find like really where they fit in as well. Could you maybe speak to like what are some key things that you look for or really help explain to anybody that might be interested really how they can get involved?
Yeah, so for the consumer side of things, for
Mhm.
anyone, you don't need to belong to any organization, you just individual. The first point of contact is through the wallet. Go to the App Store, and we are now going to release one on the Google Play Store as well, where
Nice.
you download the wallet and you can create your own twin. The twin can look like you. And
Wow.
we are now adding a feature coming up very soon this month where the twin can have your voice.
Oh, wow.
And the twin can speak in your voice in multiple languages too.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so let's say that I'll give you an example. I went to Brazil,
Uh-huh.
and they speak Portuguese there, and I don't speak Portuguese, and I couldn't. I had difficulty communicating. Not many people speak English, even at the airport. And
Oh,
so
wow.
just imagine I can go there with my wallet, and I've already trained my agent, and I talk to my agent and say I want to order coffee, and the agent turns around and speaks to the barista at Starbucks and says, I want to order coffee, like that. So
Wow.
my point in Portuguese. You
Yeah.
understand? I'm speaking to my agent in English, but it's speaking it in the other language, and it's also got my face. It looks like
Sure.
I am actually speaking. So I'm just giving a very simple but practical example
Yeah.
where the wallet can make a difference. But the wallet is not only for this type of use case, but
Mhm.
the agent actually has got its own money. So what happens is it's got cryptocurrency, and as you know, there's a big law that was passed 10 days ago called the Genius Act. So
Mm.
the Genius Act makes it lawful for stable coins and other cryptocurrencies to be used for various purposes in the US. And
Nice.
so until now, the Web3 or crypto community space was sort of like not in the mainstream. This law actually brings it right into the mainstream of commerce in America. And so, for
Right.
example, Walmart, Amazon, and so on are starting to launch their own coins so they
Ah,
can bypass the banking system and reduce the cost for consumers
wow.
from the 3% that these other credit card processing fees, there's about 3%
Right.
wastage there. it cuts down to about 0.5%. So
Oh, wow.
what we are doing is with our agents, we can also participate in this where you as a consumer can tell your agent, okay, you know what, I have work to do. I'll give you the instructions. You go and shop for me. And
Hmm.
it can go and buy things on your behalf because it's got its own wallet. And
Oh,
you give it
wow.
enough money and it can go and spend and it knows how to operate. So we've got infrastructure for it to go and conduct commerce with other sites. So there's a framework that we're building with a public company. I cannot name it, but
Uh,
it's called the agent to merchant framework. So any e-commerce vendor can plug in this framework
uh-huh.
and be able to conduct commerce. And so
Oh,
it's
wow.
not just human beings going to Amazon to buy. You can tell your agent to go and buy on your behalf. It's
Oh, my
amazing
God.
how we are going to evolve very, very quickly. And it's already, the train has sort of left the station already on this.
Yeah.
And some of it, I'll be speaking at an event at MIT in mid-July, actually. So
Oh, wow. Awesome. I appreciate you sharing those examples. There's clearly so many use cases, both from like the enterprise and the business standpoint, but also from just everyday people like in their day to day, kind of able to leverage all of the awesome new things that you're working on, especially with AI. And really outside of what we covered, are you guys like, do you really have any specific goals over the next 12 months for Synergetics AI? Like, are you looking to roll out any new initiatives that maybe you could bring to light on this podcast here?
yeah, I mean, some of the things that I've mentioned, like, we want people to first participate in the Asian economy. We think it's a great way, and we are starting to add a lot of capabilities, and some things are kind of really, really cool things. So, for example, if you create your own avatar on
Uh-huh.
in your wallet, now your avatar initially will be created using the clothing that you are wearing when you take your selfie or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But we have in the Asian economy, we have a capability where we're bringing in vendors of clothing. So your agent can wear Levi's jeans or Armani suit or whatever and branded goods, and you can buy the digital versions of these things.
Oh,
So
wow.
your agents can be dressed up in whatever you want. You could be wearing
Yeah.
Ray-Ban glasses. You can be doing whatever, and a lot of people don't know. They might think like, "Oh, this sounds frivolous." It's not frivolous. You
Uh-huh.
know that Nike, for example, makes a lot of money on digital goods. I mean, not the real shoe, a digital shoe.
Oh,
That
wow.
so they're using it in, I think, maybe games or other things.
Yep.
So this digital economy of things is not frivolous. It's a real thing where your agent, you don't want it to look a particular way. You can make it look really, fancy.
Yeah.
You can buy digital goods for it. Now the same way your agent initially might have a certain knowledge base, but
Mhm.
you can plug in new knowledge bases into your agent such that it knows more things. So for those
Wow.
of you who follow Elon Musk, he's got a company called Neuralink, and Neuralink enables one to plug in chips into the human body to repair certain things, like people who've got spinal cord damage, or I think they also take care of Parkinson's and different types of things.
Hmm.
But our agents, using the same mindset, you can plug in a cartridge or a module to say, now my agent knows how to do stock trading. My agent knows how
Oh,
to
wow.
do speak in 5 different languages. My agent, you can plug in different capabilities you can buy for your agent, so that it can start to do a lot more things than you as a human
Yeah.
may not be able to do on your own. Your agent can do, because you can just plug in that knowledge. So this this ability to extend one's self is going to be a
Mhm.
very, very big part of this Asian economy. I think
100%.
those are some of the things that we hope to bring about in the next year, at least, while we
Yeah.
scale the company.
That is awesome. There's so many exciting things that you guys are doing really in the digital economy, but especially with AI. I think that a lot of people get the misconception of like, how can I leverage AI in my business or in my every, I guess, day to day. And so some of the things that you guys are working on are really, really interesting use cases. And if there is anybody that's watching this podcast and maybe they want to learn a little bit more about Synergetics AI, they want to be a part of what you guys are doing outside of the website, what would you say is like the best social media platform for them to go and maybe get more information and keep up with all these awesome revelations?
Sure. So right now, actually, We started off with LinkedIn, and then we also have a Twitter or X, as it's called today, channel. But we're also starting out with a few other sort of channels on Discord for developers, Telegram for developers, and then we also have started to publish some reels,
Oh, nice.
Instagram, YouTube Shorts, that type of thing. So you can find us on different mediums for different types of content types, like short form video content, or posts that we do on LinkedIn and so on. But
Nice.
but maybe LinkedIn would be the most sort of like established one. The others are there, but they are kind of early still.
Yeah. That's great. And I'll be sure to include links in the description of this video to your guys' LinkedIn, your social medias, and also the website as well. I highly recommend anybody that's interested in AI from our audience to go check out Synergetics and all the awesome stuff that they're working on. But really, other than that, thank you so much for your time and for your insights today.
Thank you for having me, Tyson.
Absolutely. And, maybe if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the comments of this video, whether that's on my post on LinkedIn or if you come across this video on YouTube. And maybe we can have, Raghu, if you're open to it, we can have you back on the podcast and answer maybe some of those frequently answered questions.
Absolutely happy to do that.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. We will catch you in the next video.
For more details and latest updates, please visit our website, www.synergetics.ai. Thank you.